on the last episode of Sheila Lives Out Loud.
I started out just like any other child, very inspired by my father, who was a banker, and he was a professional banker for 3 decades, and finally joined campus and studied banking and finance. Graduated, got into the marketing world, and there I was in the banking sector. 7 years into it, I unfortunately handled a fraudulent transaction unknowingly. All I thought that the worst that would have happened to me was losing my career. Unfortunately, that was not the worst thing. 2.5 years later, after being arrested, losing my career, and being charged in court, I got convicted. I couldn't believe it. From the corporate world to the maximum facility in Kenya for women. What went wrong? All the questions that I was asking him started with a why. Why? Why? Where were you? Why didn't you answer our prayers? Why weren't you just this time, like you say you are a God of justice? 70% of the women who I was having time with had come from very disadvantaged backgrounds. They had never, ever been to a class, illiterate. And what happens is these women are busy trying to make ends meet, and in that trying to survive, end up in petty crimes. And it hit me that I had the opportunity of even having legal representation. These women, once they're arrested, do not even have legal representation. They do not even understand the charges that they're up against. And that really started making me think, I have more blessings. I can't keep asking God why. I have had more, and when I leave this place, I will rebuild my life. And I knew very well that my parents were still going on with my appeal case, so I let that rest and left it to God. When He comes through for me, then I will be glad. And I had all the faith that He would come through for me in my appeal case. But in the meantime, as I continue with this 1-year sentence, we've got to do something.
Here's what happened next.
But what I didn't know is that this was the beginning of the rest of my life.
The freedom that God wanted you to step into, He had to take you into prison to find freedom.
I'm telling you.
And when we talk about how God works, you know, some people think, let's just read something or watch something. But when you listen to what people are going through and have been going through and go through to find purpose and find where they belong and what God wants them to do, it truly is something epic. And here you are, obviously the year is over.
Yes.
I want to ask about the appeal and how that's going.
The appeal went on very well. 2.5 years since I was convicted, I got cleared of all wrongdoing. We're actually now in the process of compensation.
Fantastic. I'm so excited for you and thrilled for you. Some people wouldn't call this a blessing, but because you're a believer, this truly is the journey you were meant to walk.
Yes, it
But
is.
let's talk about what you're up to now.
Yeah.
Well, the compensation's on the way.
Yeah.
You're still working. I remember calling you to set up an interview with you, but you weren't able to make it, and that's because you were helping one of the ladies from prison transition back. And I thought that was the sweetest thing a guest has ever said to me, to tell me why they can't make it to the show.
Wow.
But let's talk about what you're doing now.
So immediately upon release, it was very difficult reintegrating back into society because I thought to myself, I'm done with the toughest beat and now I'm just going to go back home and rebuild my life, you know. But what I didn't realize is that society now looked at me differently.
Yes.
I was now an ex-con. And that tag was right there. No one really wanted anything to do with this ex-con. And it was another tough journey of about a year or two of fast realizing that they have not walked my journey. and they do not know how to deal with me. And so creating that awareness of exactly the world that I've come from. And in that process is when I set up my social enterprise called Clean Start. And just like the word suggests, it gives women, youth, and men who have been imprisoned and come from very poor backgrounds, purely got themselves in there due to survival crimes, and do not have a way of getting out of that revolving door. So Clean Start gets them unstuck. And how we do it is we run character development programs, employment programs, education, entrepreneurship, very little basics, soft skills, customer care, and things like those that we run at the prisons, and then a lot of talks in the corporate world. Why should they employ these people?
Yeah, because corporate would be the first people who say no.
No.
But corporate really should be the first people that says yes.
Yes, exactly. We need to do our CSRs there.
Yeah.
Because to him whom much is given,
much is expected.
definitely,
Yes.
definitely. And we've got quite a number of them whom we've done CSRs with, quite a number of them who are willing to take them on board. A lot of volunteers coming from the corporate world, SMEs, individuals, churches, to come and train these women on the different skill set that these people have that can enable these women have
Go out and
Yeah.
do something different.
Exactly.
To do better. Because if
Yeah.
you put me here
Yeah.
for a period of time and I'm not learning something I can use that will keep me from coming back here,
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to what I know.
Exactly.
And I'll be right back here again.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So it's really been quite a journey, a lot of fasts, you know, in all fronts, but it's coming on very well. And yesterday that I called and said I wouldn't come, one of my best friends that I made such good friendship with in prison, because she's the lady who held my hand and told me that I shouldn't be so down. She had already done 3 years and she had 6 to go. Is it 4 to go? And she was like, take heart, be strong. And she really assisted me do that 1 year. So that day she was being released and it was such a beautiful occasion. At that time when she told me she's got 7 years to do, it looked so
Big.
long
And forever. Would she
Exactly.
ever come out? But look.
Yeah, yeah. Time passes, and when difficult times come, pass through it with lots of faith, because it's going to end. And the reason why most people do not have their papers yet is because they cut the process short. Don't cut that process short. I was approached 2 times and asked to bribe so that this thing would go away. Had I bribed, I would never have gone through that process, which means I would not be in freedom today. So for freedom, there always has to be a price to pay. For you to get your freedom, there's a price to pay. And after doing the whole cycle, I now have my papers. I enjoy working with these women. Just seeing a woman transformed to a point of despair, hopelessness, to a point where she now has hope, she has papers, she can sustainably take care of her children and not go back into imprisonment or into survival crimes, gives me so much joy. Yeah.
As we wind up, and I really don't want to wind up, but then what I know in my heart is the door remains open for you,
Yeah.
and we're going to walk your journey and be there with you to celebrate
Thank
the good
you.
and the bad.
Thank
because
you.
God's brought us all together for a reason.
Yeah.
How do we tap into Clean Start? What can we do?
It's from the very basic things such as bar soap for these women to take a bath and restore their dignity and their self-esteem. You know, from just that basic that I can take a shower and be fresh and clean. Because for most of these people who are serving, especially the very long sentences, like life sentence, women who are on death row, for most of them, they do not have visitors because maybe they came 1, 2, 3 years, got tired, and remember their relatives are also in the same kind of a situation. So they're very left out, and it's those very basic necessities, bar soap, tissue rolls, toothpaste, sanitary towels for them, from inspiration, some hope. You know, they're in this dungeon of a place, like I call it, feeling left out by the entire world out there. And everyone could do better
something. There's something
with
you
some
can give.
inspiration.
And you feel better when someone makes time.
Exactly.
And they come to see you no matter where you are.
To motivate you and to just tell you, keep strong and keep going, you know. And then to, of course, more courses in there in prison. For instance, I have just recently been speaking with Cisco to try and start an ICT academy, relevant stuff for these women for when they leave.
Yeah, they've got skills that the world needs,
exactly.
as opposed to, what are we going to do with you? The world moved this way and you were stuck there, not moving with the world.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
And a lot of, you know, goodwill from people who've been blessed with different kinds of skill sets, talents. Just come in there and train these women to do different kinds of things that will really empower them when they leave.
Right.
We're currently really believing for a halfway house, because for most of the women upon release, they have nowhere to go to. And there's so many of them who end up in the streets and that very night get arrested and the cycle begins again. So we're trusting that sooner than later we'll have a halfway house where they can put up for a couple of months before they get
back on their feet and
and
are able to walk for themselves and support their families. And then they can move on and create space for somebody else who's coming out as well.
And have the conveyor belt all the way to successful reintegration back into society.
It will be possible, because that is the God we serve. Teresa, I know that Clean Start is going to go places, and we are going to post links and you know, contact, so that anybody who's watching right now can join you, support you, walk with you, and donate of whatever it is that God tells them to donate. And you know, there's a reason why messages come to people, and if this message is coming to you, you've got to respond to it in the way that you know you have to. But the doors remain open to living out loud with us. Thank you. God bless you. Say hello to the family for us.
Thank you. Hi, a beautiful shout out to my daughter, to my son, Shiko and Theo. Mommy loves you big. To my husband, to my mom and dad, and all my friends who've been very supportive in this journey. Love you all.
And there you go, our very first Salams moment on Sheila Lives Out Loud. And it's okay. You were the first to do it. And even if you're not the last, I think I love it. Be sure to check out my social media sites for links to Clean Start. We want you to walk with Clean Start. Everybody deserves one. This could be your path to your freedom. You never know. But thank you for watching this episode. Click subscribe to this channel. As always, in everything that you do, live out loud. I'm Sheila Moniga from Westwood saying bye for now.